I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. This is Amos chapter 9, our last chapter, and Amos's prophecies have condemned the northern kingdom of Israel for their oppression of the poor, as I mentioned, and we've had many parallel or dualistic prophecies that can be applied both to ancient Israel but also to the modern day. And here's our last chapter. Israel shall be sifted among all nations. In the last days they will be gathered again into their own land, and it shall become productive. I saw the Lord standing upon the altar, and he said, Smite the lintel of the door, that the posts may shake, and cut them in the head, all of them, and I will slay the last of them with the sword. He that fleeth of them shall not flee away, and he that escapeth of them shall not be delivered. Though they dig into hell, thence shall mine hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel, I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them. And though they go into captivity before their enemies, thence will I command the sword, and it shall slay them. And I will set mine eyes upon them for evil, and not for good. And the Lord God of hosts is he that toucheth the land, and it shall melt. And all that dwell therein shall mourn, and it shall rise up wholly like a flood, and shall be drowned as by the flood of Egypt. It is he that buildeth his stories in the heaven, and hath founded his troop in the earth. He that calleth for the waters of the sea, and poureth them out upon the face of the earth. The Lord is his name. Are ye not as children of the Ethiopians unto me, O children of Israel, saith the Lord? Have not I brought up Israel out of the land of Egypt, and the Philistines from Caphtor, and the Syrians from Kir? Behold, the eyes of the Lord God are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith the Lord. For lo, I will command, and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations, like as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake, nor prevent us. Okay, that was a bit long there, but this is interesting. You're not going to escape. If you think you're going to get out of this, God's going to find you. You go to hell, you go to heaven, you try to hide in the mountains, you try to hide in the sea. Doesn't matter. The wrath of God's coming for you. Now, he talks about the captivity. They're going to go into captivity. And even in captivity, they're going to be persecuted. They're going to be killed. And it's going to be, but, I find it interesting. He compares them to the Ethiopians and to the Philistines and to the Syrians. The wicked kingdom, it doesn't matter all wicked kingdoms get God's judgment eventually. God doesn't judge only Israel. He judges everybody. And when you get wicked enough, you face his wrath. Israel, being the covenant line, the birthright line, does have the promise that they will not be utterly destroyed as some other nations have been. There will always be a remnant of Israel, but they will be scattered throughout all nations. They will be sifted among all nations. They will cease to be a political entity, a national identity. But they never cease to be a cultural identity, at least not for the Jews. The Jews will always remain the Jews. It's a very interesting prophecy, or the way God is doing this. Anyways, verse 11. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old, that they may possess the remnant of Edom, and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord that doeth this. Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper, and the treader of grapes him that soweth seed. And the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt. And I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. And they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them. And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land which I have given them, saith the Lord thy God. So Amos ends with this hopeful note of restoration. In the last days, God will bring them back. He will restore the tabernacle of David. This is the temple of David, the palace, the temple. They will possess the land. I was like this, the plowman shall overtake the reaper. and the treader of grapes him that soweth seed. There's going to be so much plenty. It's going to be so prosperous that as you're harvesting it, the next rotation of crops is going to be being planted. And I do like this, and they shall build the waste cities and inhabit them. This reminds me that in the 1800s, when the Jews first started seeking to return to the land of Canaan, the land that God gave them, at that time, most of Canaan was completely uninhabited. All those great cities of the past were abandoned. Jerusalem had maybe a few hundred people there. The land had been so wasted, nobody lived there anymore. But the Jews came back and they built it up and they restored it. They rebuilt these cities. And we can see what they are. Jerusalem today is a great city, but it was laid waste. For hundreds of years, nobody lived there. You had some nomads pass through now and again, but there was almost no permanent residence throughout all of the land of ancient Israel was almost completely abandoned until the Jews started moving back. So we see this prophecy of Amos being fulfilled. This finishes Amos, and we will return to our histories. So I will see you there. 2 Kings.